The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. The X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern. The show is then repeated in its entirety from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m., and then repeated a third time from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. on the X Zone Broadcast Network and the Talkstar Radio Network, and our growing family of broadcast affiliates right across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Australia, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. If you'd like to give us a call, toll-free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. It is Monday, April the 5th. I hope everyone had a super Easter weekend, and there are those of you who are still enjoying the 4-day part of the Easter weekend. So to you still, wherever you are, have a safe, enjoyable, fun-filled Easter holiday weekend. My first guest this show tonight here in the X Zone is David Tippie. And David's passion has been for the past 30 years improving health naturally, studying physiology and alternative health care and prevention with a relentless pursuit. In 2001, he began a research and development center entitled Anti-Aging Clinic. And we've got David joining us right now from Florida. David, welcome to the X Zone.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here, Rob. Great to have your listeners listen to a little bit of things that I've been involved with my entire life. The first, of course, I know that everybody out there has got to have some idea that health is of importance. A lot of people place a value on money, but without your health, what good is wealth?
Isn't that the truth? David, for the past 30 years, you've been on your quest, on your crusade. What started it?
About 30 some odd years ago, 32, 33, I looked at my family members, mostly the males, but most generally the males, and found them dying of old age diseases. Now, that doesn't sound abnormal unless you add the other part of the equation, and that is that they were dying in their late 50s and early 60s. And I just said, look, David, I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to do something now. And I started a passion of reading, researching, and trying to get myself acquainted with physiology to such an extreme that I could then learn. I mean, believe me, passion is where learning really is.
You and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break, David. Please stand by. David Tippie is our very special guest. His website, Exonation, is www.livelonger123. That's www.livelonger123. I'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, right here on the Talkstar Radio Network and X Zone Broadcast Network. By the way, Paragator's website, www.paragators.org, has been updated. Give it a visit. And now you can also go to xzonepodcast.com and listen to over, are you ready for this? 908 of the past interviews that I've done here on the show. I'll be back on the other side in 2 minutes as David Tippie and I continue our quest into the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here in the X Zone from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. It's Monday, April the 5th. Don't go away. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
Hello, I'm Justina Marsh, and with my dad Pete, we are going to present a new show called Too Good to Be True. Together, we are aiming to discover more truths about this world and beyond. Do you have unanswered questions about the world? Do you ever wonder about aliens, conspiracy theories, or the universe? There are many shows discussing subjects such as pyramids or UFOs, but we want to relay this information based on our own research, including from spiritual means. Hopefully, listeners will be helped with their own beliefs and will appreciate the psychic insights that add to the previous research and information. We both look forward to sharing this insight and beginning this journey with our listeners. Visit xzbn.net for more information about when to listen.
Welcome back, everyone. David Tippie is my special guest. His website is www.livelonger123.com. That's www.livelonger123.com. David, the immune system is, I would say, the backbone of our health. And in today's society, with all the junk food that we're feeding ourselves and all the stress and all the caffeine and the lack of exercise, what is this doing to our immune system? And what would you like to see people do to improve their immune systems?
Well, wonderful question, Ron. I want you to know that there is nothing on this planet that you can do without in your body. There is not a single part or a function of that body. It's designed to heal itself, by the way. You're the only person that can stand in its way. And what I mean by that is your immune system is made up of specialized cells and organs, and I could go through the whole list of the white blood cells and the bone marrow, the thymus, and, there's so many parts of the puzzle there. But the only thing that you need to be concerned with is what goes past the lips or on the skin. Now, a lot of people say, well, what do you mean on the skin? Because you can put things on the body that will, of course, penetrate the body. Even bacteria, if you have a little bit of a scrape or a cut, is going to penetrate. So there's nothing in the system that cannot be recoverable. And the little song at the entry, until I'm 64, well, that, to me, is midlife. We are going to help people to understand that aging is a mistake that you made. If you can only think in terms of I have to take one specific example, so we'll move through the myelin sheath, for example. The neurons are supposed to travel through the body. You think of an electrical cord. There's a insulation to keep you from getting electrocuted, from the plug to the actual device. Well, the neurons have got to travel through something to get all through their destinations through the body. And that myelin sheath is the insulation, if you will, and that's the communicators from your brain to the rest of your body. Think of it. If your entire body was alive but you had no brain, that would be, of course, a fate worse than death. So when you're talking about improving the brain and memory and all of the things to improve health, you have to have a wonderfully working metabolism and immune system. And in order to continue that myelin sheath is made up of the great long-chain fatty acids. Now, among other things, they help to build that insulation, if you will, that the neurons have got to travel through this myelin sheath.
And of course, multiple sclerosis is a neurological disease that is caused in part by the depletion of myelin in the myelin sheath in certain parts of the brain that causes basically the brain to short out, causing motor function and autonomical functions to short out.
Hooray! Hooray, hooray for you. You understand the quality of, number one, just one of the things that the long-chain fatty acids are extremely helpful for. Number one, your cell, a good healthy cell, is made up of omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s, cholesterol, and arachidonic acid. If you do not have those in your system correctly taking in the proper foods, for example, your body has got to make something in its place. If you don't take in enough of the omega-3s, for example, the body's got to make something to take its place or you're going to die. So you've made a wrong decision, so it starts making up something. And what it makes is something's going to shock you. It makes a short-chain trans fat to take the place of that long-chain fatty acid. And when I tell you the name of it, you're going to understand that you've been given some wrong information out there. It's called HDL and LDL combination. That's the short-chain trans fat it makes. Because remember, I told you that cholesterol is one of the main elements, the top of the hormone pathway, that's necessary for the formation of every cell, along with all of the other things in the body. It's the major contributor. So when your body has got to make that HDL-LDL combination, that's a triglyceride. Now, well, also what that is the gasoline that runs the body. So are you going to pass a gas station that says free gas? Heck no, I'm not. I'm going to go get a barrel or two to get some more free gas. Well, the body does the same thing. It's going to store that in those nice little opportune places, the hips, the thighs, the belly.
Yep.
So you get now the picture that you and only you are responsible for your poor health. It's a mistake to have poor health. It's the mistake that you made. Water is just as important, the aqueous fluid. You've always heard that water, there's 75% water in the body. The brain is like 80%. If you don't take in the correct type and amount of water on a daily basis, a lot of us substitute and we think that we're drinking something when we drink the sodas and the coffees and the drinks of all sorts. And what we're doing is actually dehydrating the cell. You have to have alkaline water when you're taking in great quantities, meaning the correct quantities, which is you take half your weight. Let's just say you weigh 200 pounds.
Okay.
You should be taking in 100. You divide the weight in half and then take away the pounds and use just plain ounces. Say you were 200 pounds, you would drink 100 ounces of water. Now the type of water is ultimate here, because just the regular tap water by law is supposed to be a pH of 7. Now think of it, your body, in order for it to remain alive, it's got to be at a pH of 7.35 to 7.4. And as you begin to realize how crucial that pH balance is in the body, once you start taking in acids, I mean, for God's sakes, just regular tap water is 7. Every bottled water is less than that. And then when you begin to think in terms of every known disease starts in an acidic environment, what does that mean? When you are the opposite of alkalinity, when you don't take in enough of the Mother Nature's naturals, when you don't feed that system with proper water, you are creating an acid environment. That is exactly what cancer cells are designed to live in. That's the perfect environment for that. So what we want to do is get back to eating most of Mother Nature's goods out there without man's interference. In other words, don't use a microwave. Don't get processed Mother Nature's foods. And for God's sake, stay away from the man-made sugars. So all of those things are choices that we make. We are able to make the choices ourselves. Now, if you say, well, wait a minute, my doctor made the choice. It's not my fault. Well, yes, it is. If you allow the doctor to tell you that, well, take this medication or that, et cetera, I won't go into the long details of my book about, the collapse of drugs, but you get the drift. If you allow the doctor to make your decision for you, then it's still your decision. It's not that person's fault. You told him to do it.
You see, the way I look at things, David, is that Mother Nature created a balanced platform for all living things on this planet. Before men started manipulating things genetically and adding chemicals and this and that and the other thing, we had it made. We really had it made. But now with, like you were saying, the artificial sweeteners, aspartame and the rest of the chemicals that do nothing but cause illness, havoc, and chaos within our bodies, the chemically induced products that we buy at fast food restaurants, as well as instead of drinking water, drinking that pop, like you said, we're just killing ourselves.
Absolutely. You've hit the nerve, if you will, of why people get so consumed in everyday life. Most people are looking for the fast solution.
But there is no magic bullet, there is no fast solution, and there is no magic pill in life.
No, there isn't. And it is so intelligent for one to finally make that deduction for themselves. But believe me, if you will listen to commercials and how they will stroke you and tell you that here, this is this and this is that, please, you have to use your own head and start educating yourself on health. It is, believe it or not, the simplest thing to do is to not have diabetes, not have arterial plaque buildup, to not have the injurious neurological diseases. We're walking toward dementia, and there is no reason for it. We have to take responsibility of what goes in our bodies, and to do that, simple education and being aware that you are an animal. Vegetarians are not doing themselves any great favor. You are an animal. You must have the long-chain fatty acids that are produced by animals. You cannot survive just on the alkalinity from Mother Nature. It is extremely helpful, but not all of the picture. As you begin to realize that, hey, just think about your skin. That's the first line of defense. It's a pH of 5.5. It's almost antibacterial, okay? So that when bacteria hits that 5.5, it normally kills in a way it goes, unless you stick your hands in your mouth, and you transfer the bacteria. But the idea is that you have to maintain a good body balance. There's nothing like balance. You can't replace that. Everything has a yin and the yang theory. You've heard of that in Chinese metaphor. So if you have a lack of omega-3...
David, you and I are going to have to take our commercial break at the bottom of the hour with the news. David Tippie's my special guest, and we will be back talking more about living longer with David. His website is www.livelonger123.com. We'll be back on the other side of the news here in the X Zone. Don't go away.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies,
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows,
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
David Tippie's my special guest, www.livelonger123.com. That's livelonger123.com. And David, during the commercial break, you and I were talking about various things. Before we get back into that, though, what is the age that the body should live till?
You have a wonderful science out there that says that cell senescence takes place at 120 years. Cell senescence meaning that all of the DNA begin to rupture and the helix falls apart. That's cell senescence. You should be able to hit that golf ball as hard and as fast and as far at 120 the day before all cells fall apart as you did at 25 or 30. You can, if you will not damage the body, if you will just help it, it will help you survive, and not only survive, but be healthy in that survival. A lot of people realize, and you look at some of the folks that have longevity that are in walkers, etc. That's not a quality. I like quality with quantity, and that's been my research, to look for reasons and science that would help to improve the health. Physiology is like a circle. If you take an automobile tire,
right,
you take a chunk out of the automobile tire, it's no longer it's worthless. It's not going to roll. Physiology is the same way. Now, every time you do something to the body, put something in it or on it that's going to reap havoc for the body, it's going to do something to try to overcome that, because, again, the tire's round. It's got to continue to roll. And it might be shortening your life, what the body has to do, as earlier mentioned with the short-chain trans fat. But you can't stop doing the things that are necessary. Number one, lymphatic system. That's 75% of your immune system. It does not have a pump like the blood system. You can be asleep and your blood's going to pump if you don't have too much plaque in the arteries. But if you do not move the body, your lymphatic system will not move. This is why people, when they get all the way to the sofa and sit down, and their life then begins to unravel and et cetera, that's what takes place. Your system is, you're telling it to die, and you want to tell it to live. So you have to move. That's the very minimum of exercise. Don't ever think that all exercise is not good. It certainly is. The amount of exercise that you can do to create lean muscle is extremely helpful, because muscle metabolizes and fat does not. When you begin to move that lymphatic system by moving those arms, moving those legs, and getting out there in Mother Nature so that that UVB ray can turn that vitamin D into D3 and build strong bones, you are asking that your body listen to you now and to live longer with a healthy modus operandi, not to be a person who is only walking toward a death that is becoming more rapid as their decisions, and poor decisions, I will say, begin to accumulate.
All right, let me ask you this then, David. Let me ask you this question. If we are looking at the quality of life that we're living right now and equating that to the quality of life as we get into our golden years, and according to research, the average age before passing is now 82 years old. If we were to take all this into consideration, the lack of exercise, the lack of quality food, the ingestion of chemically derived sugars, as well as genetically modified foods, as being the reason why we are dying at 83 and not living a full life until at least 120, how come the average lifespan going back 100 years ago was so much less than it is today?
One of the greatest, you might say, comebacks for the medical pharmaceutical industry is, hey, we're living longer now. We're living longer. Which means, if you will go all the way in reverse, when you were back at caveman days, you had you had to extremely be totally in control of your own environment. There was like a cave over there somewhere, but there was a dinosaur after your ass every once in a while. But you never had the quality of just sitting down and having 6 meals a day. Okay, that's what it takes for a good, healthy metabolism, and good equal portions of food. The brain is extremely important in our longevity. It's, listen, I know I can't do that, so instead of me going out for a brisk walk in Mother Nature, a synthetic pharmaceutical drug has been manufactured. Now, anything synthetic, I want you to understand, is going to, your body's going to say, if you put that in here, all hell's going to break loose. Yes, it's going to help in a certain area, and then it's going to have a devastating effect on the other side, which is called side effects today. But there are lots of things, and I point out in my book how these things actually are debilitating. Now, yes, education, as education comes along, we begin to, and of course, we stop carrying the guns on the hips and things like that, so, and less rattlesnake bites and et cetera. We are now involved in the society. The society itself evolved and helped us evolve to become older human beings than what we normally would back in the day. Okay? You have got to take and use the mentality of today and say, well, wait a minute, let's go back and say, what was the mentality way back when? And you might think that a great meal 3 times a week for somebody in that era would be probably great.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have meals and correct meals on a daily basis, then you're not going to be inducing longevity of any sort. So even McDonald's hamburgers is better than what they were doing way back when, because you're exposed to it on a daily basis. It's going to give you a longer life than back in the 18 or 1700s or whatever. You're not going to have an exposure to hunger as often as they did back then. You're not going to have an exposure to the elements, the bears, the lions, the snakes, etc., etc. So all of those things help to bring our society into longevity. It was not the fact that we took Boniva to improve bone, when actually it stops the reduction and the removal of old bone. Remember me telling you that the body has a balance and a regenerating cycle?
Mm-hmm.
Well, bone has that same cycle. For example, if you stop the old bone from being removed just so a bone density report will look better, look what happens after 1 year and a day after taking that. It begins to destroy the integrity of that bone. You can actually be walking down the road and break a bone, because you have to have the bone replacement and the bone removal process in a healthy cycle. And it takes vitamin D, the ultraviolet B ray. You've got to move. The lymphatic system's got to go. You have to hydrate the body, et cetera, et cetera. Where do we getting our calcium? Would you go backwards when we were talking about early on? They're probably a person living on a farm or a ranch. And you remember, now we're talking about the entire population, and now I'm only going to talk about a few.
Okay.
There are some of those folks way back there who lived into their hundreds because they were involved on, they had their ranches and their farms and their cattle that ate nothing but the grains and the whole foods from Mother Nature, and so the quality animal omegas 3s were in that meat, and so those people survived just 100 years and could build and do the things that they were doing at 100 that they were when they were 20.
Well, let me ask you another question. Are humans meat eaters, or are we vegetarians?
We are animals. We must have protein. You cannot get the omega 3s that you have to have from Mother Nature that you get in meat. You've got to get that from meat. You have to. For a person who is a vegetarian, they're not doing themselves justice. We are not vegetarian. We are animals. We have to have protein. So do we have to have the chemically treated cow that is getting the hormones and the injections and fed the genetically modified feed and et cetera, et cetera? No. Stay away from the crap, Mm-hmm. And the same with the chickens that are, I don't know if you've been exposed to how they grow and raise those chickens, but they're like in 12-inch by 12-inch little compartments, and they're stacked about 40 high and 1,000 long, So you really, and they're fed with just gross amounts of processed and genetically modified foods and all of the chemicals to try to get them to gain weight, et cetera, quickly. So it's not a healthy thing, but good fish, and every once in a while when you can get the farm-raised animal, you get that and do as often as possible. Don't get the farm-raised fish. Try to get the deep water fish. The small fish are great. The ones that are not as susceptible early on to the mercury and the poisons that we've got out in the waters now. So there's really good judgment calls and just entering your own education into what you're about to take in. But yes, you have to have protein. Period. End of story. You're an animal.
So the secret to living longer is better education as well as taking as good care of our bodies as we do of our cars.
You absolutely hit it on the head. You cannot blindly walk through life and expect your doctor, as wonderful as they are, to take care of your health issues. You have got to become responsible for your health and become educated. If you do not educate yourself, I'm sorry, it's not available for you, because the person touting their food, their processed food, their genetically modified, their man-made processed anything, is going to give you a hype and sing a song that will make you think that this is so wonderful for you. So you have got to do your homework and become educated. Hopefully people will get involved with my book when it's released, and they go to my website, they can get a kind of a bird's eye view of what it's about. But you can certainly never, ever walk away from the mechanical portions of your body. Again, walking, moving, drinking water. You've got to have the action of the body is so very important. We've lost track of that. I mean, we're always inside a building, we're inside a car, we're inside a house. We are never out with Mother Nature. You've got to get out there, because the magnetic energy from Mother Nature is essential to life. It really is. We've been cut off from that magnetism, which was one of the reasons why the cortisone shot got so very famous when it was invented way back when. We've got to have a new understanding of Mother Nature and get involved with her and allow our bodies to get back into balance, and to realize that that's where all of the pain and all of the arthritis and the things that are coming from. We get away, that umbilical cord to nature is cut. Okay, if you don't reestablish it, you are going to have a synthetic umbilical cord. I call it that. It's a analogy that I use when people are really replacing Mother Nature with synthetics. Your body is telling you, screaming at you. But for instance, I'll give you a great example.
All right, hold on here. Just give me a second here. We've got to take our final break. When we come back, give me that fine example that you're just dying to tell us. David Tippie's our special guest, Exo Nation, www.livelonger123.com. That's livelonger123.com. David and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in beautiful Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Hello, I'm Pete Marsh. With my daughter Justina, we will be presenting the new radio show, Too Good to Be True. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. But with the help of Justina's amazing gifts, we're going to gain insight into questions that don't yet have complete answers. Have you wondered who built Stonehenge and for what reason? Why are crop circles found in the same region as Stonehenge and elsewhere? Are crop circles a hoax, or are they created with technologies that we have little knowledge of? Who built the pyramids in Egypt and also in other countries? How and why were they built? Was the Titanic switched with the Britannic as part of a gigantic insurance fraud, or for more insidious reasons? What caused the Tunguska event when trees were flattened over an 800 square mile area in Siberia? Will the new insights be too good to be true? Well, that will depend on what you are prepared to believe. Please join us as we start on this journey together. For more information on Too Good to Be True, visit www.xzbn.net.
Dreams are our personal gateways into infinite wisdom. Don't miss shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Corcoran's inspiring book, Shamanic Awakening Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles Sandra's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers and her initiations throughout the Americas and across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt. Sandy's knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth influence her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private tarot readings, international journeys, a meditative CD, as well as her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate this earth walk, creating a deeper connection to yourself and all that is. Find this and more at Sandy's website, starwalkervisions.com.
I can just imagine David cringing on the other side of the phone. David Tippie's our special guest, www.livelonger123.com. That's www.livelonger123.com. David, I've got a question from one of my producers. They would like to know what is the best type of water to drink, and is there anything you can add to water to make it better?
No, you cannot. As a matter of fact, the water itself, when it first evolved, was H2O. That was 3 molecules per cluster. Today, we have techno-trash in everything that we breathe, eat, and drink. Techno-trash being the Industrial Revolution. We've dumped everything but the kitchen sink into everything. So now the molecules per cluster is 17 to 18 because of the techno-trash. Now, when you are consuming regular tap water, that's what or bottled water or any of the others out there, you're consuming the techno-trash, which means it is not a negatively charged molecule anymore that is coming off of those mountain springs. It is now a dead water that is causing you to accumulate toxins. Your aquaporin, the body in your the channels of the body that actually the water moves through is called the aquaporin. And when your cells, the saccharides around your cells, realize, and that's the communicators for your cell, realize that this large, huge molecule is coming, or cluster is coming toward it with all of these molecules, it realizes, hey, we can't hold very much of that in here. So they turn off some of the aquaporin. And so that means what? We begin to dehydrate. 98% of the oaks that are dying today die of dehydration, and they cannot put their finger on the causation that is so simple. You are drinking a water that is, first, non-negatively charged, and number 2, very high in the molecule count of trash. So my recommendation is my aging younger water ionizer. Use an electrolysis process. It breaks the water down, sends the acidic portion out into a second hose into the sink, and you drink the actual 3 to 5 molecules per cluster alkaline water. Did I say alkaline? You remember earlier, every known disease starts in an acidic environment? Yep. When you drink that high pH 10 alkaline water, hits the stomach gas, which is about 3.4, 3.3, it will instantly raise the pH of the stomach. That is a process that will cause the stomach to then recreate additional hydrochloric acid, and that is a releasing effect for bicarbs to be released in the blood. Now, if you went to a quote-unquote anti-aging doctor, now I call that an oxymoron in my business, but if you went there, they would take a blood sample to determine what your levels were, and it would determine then that you were a certain age.
Hey, David, we've run out of time for tonight. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us. Exo Nation, there's a lot of great information on David's website, www.livelonger123.com. That's www.livelonger123.com. David Tippie, thank you very much for joining us. Great having you on the show, and we look forward to the next time that you come back and meet us here in the X Zone.
Thank you.
Exo Nation, on the other side of this commercial break with the news, Peter Kling is my very special guest, and we're going to be talking about Armageddon and how to survive as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.